peoples! The title of the video says it. We're going to be reviewing Nikki being played on the phone. Is it worth it? So let's just jump into it. So I'm going to be dividing this video into 3 sections: pros, cons, and conclusion. Now keep in mind, this is my personal opinion from my own experience. You decide for yourself what is best for you. To give you a bit of context, I have been playing Infinity Nikki on my phone since January. We are now in September. So around 8 months I've been playing Infinity Nikki on my phone. That gives me a little bit of authority on this specific subject. Let's start with the pros, shall we? As you can already tell, the biggest pro of being able to play Infinity Nikki on your phone is that it is portable. We take our phones with us everywhere. It's not a whole setup that you have to take with you if you're traveling, if you're going to the doctor's office, if you're doing recess at school. You can just play on your phone. It's an app that you download, and wherever you are, wherever you have internet connection, you can play. And it's much more portable than a Steam Deck. Another pro of this is that the game itself opens up really quickly. You don't have to wait a long time for the game to load. In less than like 3 minutes, the game is already completely loaded. You load into the first screen, to the sign-in screen, then they load up the world. Changing from one part of the map to another part also is pretty smooth. Everything is really quick. And having Infinity Nikki on your phone makes it so that everybody can play it. You don't need a powerful PC and you don't need a console to be able to play this game. Anybody with a phone can play. My phone right now is an iPhone 12. It's not that new. It's a hand-me-down and it works. It works fine. Obviously, if you have a much older phone, a phone that doesn't have a very powerful processor, then obviously it's going to affect your game. But basically everybody can play. If you just have to adjust the settings, the graphic settings, and everybody is able to play. Some people might think that maybe playing it on the Switch or on the Steam Deck is better, but Infinity Nikki is not on the Switch, and Steam Decks are not accessible everywhere. In the past 3 countries that I've lived in, the Steam Deck is not available. You have to buy it from somebody that is going to like the US or some country that sells it, or you have to rely on people who import Steam Decks, and as you can imagine, the price goes way up. So the phone is really a great option for everybody because everybody has access to a phone. There's another pro that I found after playing with the new update. In this new update, there is a mini game that's basically Guitar Hero meets Infinity Nikki piano version, and it is so much easier to play on the cell phone than it is on the computer. On the computer, you have to click 4 different keys to be able to, play the song, but on your cell phone, you just need to use 2 fingers, and at least for me, it is much easier. I can coordinate myself much better. I've been able to get S rank and even S plus rank on my phone, which is basically 90+% perfection on the songs. So yeah, another pro. That is the pros list. Now we can go on to the cons. The biggest con for me is that the app is so heavy. The game itself is so heavy. It takes up so much space and so much battery. Last time I checked, my Infinity Nikki app is taking up 20 gigabytes in my phone. I have a 120 something gigabytes phone and it's taking up literally 20 gigabytes. It's almost taking up as much space as my Photos app, which is insane. This is pretty common for those games that were converted to phone usage. So like there's other games like Counter-Strike and League of Legends that have their own phone version and they're also very heavy. It's just a lot. If you are low on space, it is a little bit hard to be able to play it, and when you don't have enough leftover storage on your phone, the game does bug out. I had some problems where some quests were not completing, some things were crashing, and that was because I had no storage on my phone. I had to clear out more storage so that I had at least, 10 gigabytes left on my phone to be able to play the game without any crashes, without any bugs. It takes up a lot of your cell phone's power. The battery depletes so quickly. The phone heats up a lot. When I tried to play for like more than an hour, I just couldn't because the phone was just too hot. If I wanted to, I could definitely keep on playing it, but I want to have this phone for the foreseeable future. I don't want my battery health to go down just because of this game. I could also try to play it plugged into the charger, but that also is not good for the battery and also heats up. So unfortunately, this is not a game that you can play like hours for on your phone with no worries. Unless you don't care about your phone's battery, go ahead. Play the game as much as you want. But if you care about your phone's battery, then this is not a game that you can play for an extended period of time. Since this was an app that was adapted to the phone, the controls are a little bit funky. The boss fights are really hard to beat. The buttons are so close to each other and it's a touch screen. You don't really have that much of an idea where you're pressing. I'm constantly pressing what I didn't want to press, and moving around is also a little bit complicated. They did update the controls. They moved the buttons a little bit further from like the end of the screen, which makes it a little bit more ergonomic, but the same problem still persists, that the buttons are so close to each other and your finger just ends up pressing the wrong button. It is what it is. And using the bike, the in-game bike, is almost impossible. I changed the controls. There's some different options for controls, but it's almost impossible to play with the bike in this game. I just don't use the bike at all. So yeah, the controls are a little bit funky, but it's still playable. You're just gonna take a longer time to beat bosses and just have to deal with pressing the wrong thing. When most people complain about the phone version of Infinity Nikki, they complain about the graphics, how it's horrible, especially compared to the PC and consoles. I understand where they're coming from, and it is true. There are less things in the world when you walk around. Like, there's less flowers, there's a lot less NPCs. It feels a little bit more empty. Also, one thing that really impacts your gameplay is that you can't see the collectibles very far away. I've had countless times where I tried to get a bug in specific, and this bug is very sensitive, this insect. You have to slowly come up to the bug. But since I can't see very far, when the insect spawns in front of me on the screen, I'm already too close and then it flies away. It happens more frequently than I wish it did. So it is a really big con. You can't see the collectibles, the things like that very far. The spawn rate is really low on the phone. Of course, you could adjust the settings to make it so that you can see further away, but then that means that it's going to take up more of your battery, your phone is going to heat up more, and your phone might not even be compatible with that and it might crash. So that's up to you and what your phone is capable of doing. The game does lag sometimes because of the graphics, like it's loading the world and things like that, but the lag is not that bad. And depending on the phone you have, I've heard some people saying that like it's unplayable on their phone. With me, I had lag sometimes when I'm like walked around and it's like loading in the world. It does lag a little bit. With these pros and cons, you can come up to your own conclusions, but I'm gonna tell you what I think. If playing Infinity Nikki on your phone is your only option, you don't have a good computer, you don't have a PlayStation, you don't have a Steam Deck, it's definitely worth it. It's 100% worth it to play Infinity Nikki on your phone. I was getting a whole lot of FOMO seeing people play it, and I didn't have the option because my computer was just basically unusable for games. And playing it on my phone took away that FOMO. It made me so happy. Playing on my phone made me so happy because the game is so fun. Doing the quests and exploring the world to find Wimp stars and go fishing and collect sketches and make outfits. It really is worth it. Even if the graphics are a little bit lower, it's still worth it. Even though you can't play the game for many hours because your phone heats up, it's not that much of a problem because that just means that you're in more control of your situation and less chances of you getting addicted. You probably won't be able to take beautiful pictures like the ones that you see on the internet or like of streamers and people like that, but the game itself and the clothes are still so beautiful. You won't have the biggest graphics in the world, but you can still appreciate the beauty and the details that they put into it. The outfits, I'm serious, it's just so beautiful. Even with low graphics on my phone, it just makes me so giddy and happy to see the world and all of the beautiful clothes that are out there. And if you're going to be playing on your phone, just Don't compare yourself to others. Avoid looking at pictures uploaded on Reddit. If you keep comparing yourself to others, you will always feel like you're being left out and you won't appreciate what you have. So just don't look at them. If you want to go on Reddit for tips and tricks, sure, go ahead, but really avoid looking at pictures that other people upload because it will just make you feel miserable. So appreciate what you have. Even if the graphics are lower, even if it's a little bit harder to navigate the inside the world and beat the bosses and things like that, the game is still 100% enjoyable. It's a really good game. You don't even have to spend any money on it. I've been playing since January. I've been playing for more than 8 months now, and I have spent zero cents on this game, and I'm having so much fun. The game itself is worth it. So if you're debating whether or not it's worth it to play on your phone, in my opinion, yes it is. I hope that what I've said today can help you make a more informed decision of what it's like playing on your phone, and I hope that you have as much fun as I'm having playing Infinity Nikki. I hope you stick around for more videos. I do plan on uploading more Infinity Nikki themed videos, but I also have other cozy games on this channel that I think you will enjoy. And thank you for being here, and I hope to see you around. Bye bye!